especially what the president has done, what he's doing, what he's expected to do, and so on. And a lot of people are happy with the way that things are going because they feel that it's bringing some hope as to how things are going. But others are still skeptical, which is okay, which is good, as to, yes, we've seen this, past presidents have done one or two things before, especially when they take over office. But how will they be sustained? So today we'll be talking about the service chiefs. The service chiefs have been appointed by the president. The old ones have gone, and we have new ones. The sheriff in town right now, as to the various arms of the security. We have the new chief of defense. We have the new chief of army staff. We have the new chief of naval staff. We have the new chief of army staff, chief of air staff, as well as the national security advisor. What is the way forward now that they have all been selected or appointed by the president? Nigerians are hoping that the issues of insecurity will be history, and then everybody will go to sleep with their eyes closed. All right, I have with me in the studio to help make sense of all of this, the Director General, International Institute of Professional Security, Dr. Tony Ofoyetan. Tony, it's good to see you.
It's my pleasure.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
Very good. Great.
Pleasure.
And then we also have, joining us virtually, we have Brigadier General Sani Kukasheka Usman, former Director of Army Public Relations and spokesman for the Nigerian Army. General, it's good to have you join us this morning. Okay, we understand he will join us as we get along, but certainly you know that on the program, we also have the time to speak to a lot of people who want to make contributions on the program. But Tony, let's start with you here. First of all, there was the issue of, recall that under former President Buhari, there was the issue of, okay, change service chiefs. He changed them after a while. We had some level of peace for some time, but then we had issues from Kaduna, we had issues in Zamfara, we had issues in Niger State at the time, we had issues in Benue and in Plateau, and so on. Now we have fresh blood, fresh faces. Talk to me when you saw the names of these persons, you would have done background. Some of them you must have known them on one-on-one, as the case may be. What confidence do you have that this is a game changer so far?
Well, let me start by congratulating them, the four of them, that is starting from the NSA down to the 3 service chiefs, and even the CDI. I congratulate all of them, and even the acting Inspector General of Police. It's an awesome one. I also want to salute the dexterity of the president, his swift approach. It shows that he's prepared, let me put it like that, because if you look at antecedents from what we had previously, you see that it's not that fast. You see a lot of politics and bickering before appointment and all those stuff like that. But we saw a man that seems to know what he's doing. He knows what he wants. And I think before now he already has a template of those people he wants to work with at the back of his heart. Yeah. And so far so well. In the security industry, I'm not disappointed, I must confess. I'm not disappointed. In actual fact, it will shock you that in the military, in the army alone, the young man that came is of the 38th course, or 37th course, or something like that, and those that are on ground are of the 36th course or so. So you are talking of most probably about almost, if not almost 100 major generals that are most likely going to go, as it is now.
And that is the question. You know, and that is the question, or that is even the concern sometimes, because all of those other generals are people who have been trained, who have experience, wealth of experience in their own respect.
Well, the government has a way of, they are always in reserve. And apart from that, government have a way of always getting back to them. It may not be in this core assignment. Nigeria is a very large country. Yeah. As we speak now, the president has more than 4,000 appointments to make. More than 4,000 appointments to make within a few days. You know, so for me, as far as I'm concerned, in as much as you look at, he believes that, look, I want to work with fresh blood. I want to work with younger people with, you know, that has better mental alertness and all those stuff like that. But I must not forget to say that the service chiefs that just left, they did better than the ones that were there for 5 years. Yes, unapologetically. They were there for about 1.5 years or thereabout, but they did far, far better than those that were there for 5 years. So in as much as we know that the security challenges are not as abated as we wanted and all those stuff like that, we should not throw away their achievements. We shouldn't throw away their achievements. That's just the truth.
One thing that Nigerians will not understand, you are in the security constituency, so you will get to know who is performing, who is not performing, how they're performing, body languages, you will know those. Nigerians may not have the opportunity, who are not in your constituency, wouldn't have any single idea. Theirs is, they want where there's no bomb explosion anywhere, there's no kidnap anywhere, there's no shooting anywhere, and so on. The moment you hear that, then they feel, oh, something is going on somewhere. But talk to us how challenging it is to rid the country of some of these things. Recall those days where we are able to travel from Maiduguri to Gombe, from Gombe to Enugu to Port Harcourt, whether it is by night or by day. Nobody was thinking there's something that's going to affect the security.
Let me say something. I think one area that I want to advise those that are, you know, the architect of our security architecture, to understand that there is no singular solution to security in any country in the world. There are multiple solutions. And what a good chief does, whether of Army, Navy, or Air Force, is to apply a measure of all the solutions. Emphasize some areas more, but apply the measure of all. Immediately you refuse to apply some of the solutions, that become the vulnerability that the threat will exploit. You understand? So if you ask me, we have avalanche of security problems and challenges, but they are not insurmountable. The ones that are caused domestically, they are easier to solve. But the problem, and I think I want to encourage them more, is to concentrate and look more at international infiltration into our security challenges. The Zamfara gold, the Kaduna gold, the Bono Bauchi Californium, you understand? Now the mineral resources that are being exploited by these countries illegally. Now the natural strategy is to raise local militias to be able to cause diversion, so that in the process of that, they will add that they are helping you. They will also bring pseudo assistance, which are defective and deceptive. They bring it to you, make you believe. But meanwhile, their concentration is how to exploit your mineral resources at near zero kobo. Now, if you as a service chief, you are not intelligent enough, there is big money there and cheap money there. Once you are bought in, you would have failed ab initio. But if you are able to stand your ground, what do? Let the government itself look at machinery to regulate all this. You see, I didn't emphasize much about local militias, local security challenges and the like, because as far as I'm concerned, it does not take the military 3 weeks to clear off all the bush and the forest. Once they know that this is what they want to do. But the major challenge will be the international angle to our security. They know how to raise local militias. They know how to fund and sponsor any group in whatever name, whether you call it Boko Haram, whether you call it ISWAP, whether you call it IPOP, whatever name you call it. Once there is a mineral resource or there are mineral resources in certain areas and they are interested in it, don't forget that we now have oil in the Chad Basin. And as we speak now, Niger Delta has not survived from those. So the government must understand the security challenges that are inherent in all these things, especially from greedy Western world. Countries that are not interested in painful royalty and they want to get your mineral resource at maximum quantity and level.
These are major challenges the new service chiefs should think about, not the little thing. And when you talk about piracy and all those stuff like that, sea robbery and the like, and some of us are talking about little boys, those are not the main thing. The main thing are the vessels. The maximum vessel that picks our crude here is about 2 million barrels. Now, how many of them have their capacity to load at that level? But you are talking of high players in the industry that have the financial capacity to bring in vessels
global syndicates
and take it out. And those are global syndicates. Thank you very much. That is where government should concentrate on the most. You are not talking of 10,000 liters, 2,000 liters and all those. No, those are, in short, those ones even come back to the economy. If they steal it, they use it to feed their wife and children, use it to set up business center for their family members in the country. But we are talking of the hundreds, millions of barrels in crude that goes out. That means that your major national wealth is going out. Those are the major things, I think, if you ask me, that government should exert real energy on. And it goes to the Niger Delta region. It goes right to the north. Not as a whole. And when you are talking of all this, they should concentrate more on rural security now. Let the police do their job, yes, but rural security, because for me, I think that should be, Mr. President, major concentration and target. Okay. Rural security.
All right. Rural security. From what you have said, we recall that when the president announced that subsidy had gone, we saw how smuggling oil from Nigeria to neighboring countries ended almost immediately.
And they cried.
Some videos went viral saying that they were protesting that they couldn't have access to Nigerian oil anymore, which was cheaper and better for them and accessible. All right, we have our next guest with us here now, Brigadier General Sani Kuka Usman, former Director of Army Public Relations and spokesman for the Nigerian Army. General, good morning. It's good to have you join me right now.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. And first, I would like to apologize for the technical hitch that I couldn't join you much earlier. But the little I've had, I've been enjoying the conversation. Thank you.
Great. You're here now. That is what is important, and we're happy to have you. Now, we have new service chiefs and the new sheriffs in town in their various areas of operation. I know that you would have known some of them on one-on-one. A lot of them, you would have worked with them over the years. When it comes to wiping out insecurity, Nigerians are concerned that, of course, this is not the first time we're changing service chiefs. This is not the first time we're bringing in fresh blood into the system, yet we have not been able to go back to the pre-2009 days where Nigerians can travel from anywhere, whether it's in the night or it's in the day or it's in the afternoon or whatever. We've still not been able to travel like that without having concerns of insecurity. Speak to us about what Nigerians should see going forward with the new security chiefs on board right now.
Thank you, Ben. And I know that there's high expectation, but I like what the last speaker was saying as regards to the security challenges, and what brought about their escalation up to the point. And there are several other factors that we have to look at when we are making expectation on the part of this security chief, simply because some of the security challenges that we have, they are rooted into issues of governance. And remember that the approach to most of the security challenges was more or less like kinetic rather than non-kinetic. That we drugs the security forces, particularly the military, to the extent that, in fact, we are discussing that to what extent are we exploring and taking advantage of time-tested conflict resolution mechanism in the country before we think of bringing in security forces. Definitely, the new service chiefs, right from the Chief of Defense Staff up to the other service chiefs, including the Chief of Defense Intelligence, they are people that are well-trained, well-experienced. I've had the privilege of working directly or indirectly with almost all of them. So I've known them over the years they have been in the military. You can be rest assured that they are going to perform creditably well. And more so, again, their predecessors have done the bit they could, because in most instances, they are all part of the insurgency and terrorism was a new phenomenon in this country, because when you, 20, 25 years ago, nobody ever imagined a Nigerian could be a suicide bomber. And but it has become a reality. The seat of the federal capital was desecrated. When you look at the bombings of the UN building, the bombing at the police headquarters, the bombing at Mogadishu Cantonment, Ewa Plaza, Nyanya Bus Terminal, and of course Madala, the neighboring Niger State, and of course the number of checkpoints and other attacks elsewhere, coverting territory. But within the space of 13 years, the security forces rose to that occasion. They performed marvelously well. That was unprecedented. That has never happened anywhere in the world, and it stands to be, challenged, because Colombia fought insurgency for 58 years. We have seen what happened in Iraq. We have seen what is even happening right now in Afghanistan. Without or with little external support, Nigeria was able to do it. So, large extent, yes, the solution to most Nigeria's problems are within, and we have to tell ourselves the truth. And by telling ourselves the truth, we look at security as a collective security agencies so that they can optimize and wipe out the security, as you say so. But of course, it is not easy. It is easier said than done, because we have to look at those factors that I earlier mentioned. Having a whole society of operation. When you are even talking about fighting insurgency and terrorism, you are putting it on 100%. The kinetic aspect of it is less than 40%. So that means the non-kinetic aspect of it should be, 60% or more. So who are those people that are doing 60%? The whole society has a role to play. But of course, the government has, to lead in terms of the president giving the strategic directives to the security agencies and giving the resources, and at the same time, enlightening the Nigerian society, empowering them in terms of education, security, education, and what have you. But beyond that, putting institutions and mechanisms in place so that they can contribute meaningfully. But then again, we have to look at the socio-economic well-being of an average Nigerian. So it borders on good governance also, so that Nigerians can have a greater sense of belonging and cultivate the pride. I mean, just like the former vice president was saying, that it's about time we should create a tribe called the Nigerian, devoid of those extraneous variables that are distracting us, ethnicity, religious sentiment, and a few. So with that sense of direction and not dabbling, mixing security issues with politics and what have you, I can rest assure you, the new security chiefs will do marvelously well, and they will deliver beyond expectation. But of course, we have to think of all those issues. And what I would rather say, I'm sure they know it, and that they are going to improve tremendously on interagency cooperation, collaboration, and coordination, because it seems as if under intelligence gathering and dissemination accordingly on the basis of need. I think those are the points that they need to improve upon. But beyond that, they need the overwhelming support and understanding, encouragement of the Nigerian society. And that is why even the media itself has a role to play. You see screaming headlines, President has sacked services. Without taking into cognizance this, people have put in over 30-something years of service. They have reached the maximum, rank required, and they have stayed 2 to 3, 4 years. So yes, he has a prerogative, but I think we should be able to encourage people, not, that you don't have to use a degradative word, because tomorrow the other person will also say, oh no, all the effort that we're doing, nobody's appreciating it. And that is where the public support comes into being. And that is why when you are even making comparison, Nigeria, despite the fact the level of development varies with, let's say, United States of America, what makes it tick? It is not even the weaponry, but the resilience of the Americans. There is this sense of belonging about American dreams. So what is Nigeria's dream? Beyond we, the people, at the preambles of the Constitution, what else do we aspire to be? And what are those things that we are putting in place? And what are the sacrifices beyond the privileges that we enjoy as as citizens, and of course, people in position of authority? If you have privileges, you have responsibilities and duties to perform. And by the time people are doing that, I believe it will make it much, much easier for the security chiefs to do the best they could and to reach that period, those years before the 2009 that you are talking about.
All right. General, let me stay with you before I come back to the studio. We know that the Super Tucanos that were bought under the last administration, Nigerians had the hope or the belief, or maybe the assumption, based on what they were told, that the moment those Super Tucanos were brought in, that because of the way they were designed specifically for certain things, that they were going to wipe out insecurity, terrorists and kidnapping, because of the capacity of the Super Tucanos. We have had the 12 Super Tucanos now for several years now, but we still have the same insecurity with us. As much as, although it's not as much as it used to be, but we still have them with us. Speak to us how we're supposed to have maybe deployed, or is there any shortfall somewhere? Let us understand.
Well, there are quite a number of factors. First and foremost, if we are even going to talk about the Super Tucano, and I still make reference to the fact that we have to look at the globalization and the international politics that goes on. Remember, before we were able to get the Super Tucanos, we had to go through a lot of conditions and, deprivation. In fact, some people are of the opinion that the price of the Super Tucanos were exorbitant. Remember, again, human rights conditions and so on and so forth were attached, and it took such a number of years. That is even one. Then secondly, we have the issue of human rights concerns. In this country, we had individuals that even reported the Nigerian government to the United States government and the United Nations and what have you. And so by the time you use such high caliber weapons on the citizen, and that is where, again, the third aspect of the problem it comes from. Bulk of the security challenges that we have are asymmetric. Asymmetric in the sense that the criminals turn to blend with the society. Take, for instance, the Boko Haram terrorists. Unless you see them carrying weapons, you sleep with them. And maybe at a certain point in time, they sleep and go and commit atrocities. Now they mingle with the society. And how can you incur such collateral damages? So, to the credit of the last administration, they had to designate the bandits and kidnappers as terrorists so that they can have the legal leverage to also attack them. But in most instances, you remember some time ago in Suleja, in Niger State, there were allegations that some innocent people were killed. But that was not the only one. There were several other instances. So these are some of the things. You receive a distress call and you decide to, synchronize an aircraft only for you to go there. They are no longer there. You remember what happened in Nasarawa State. But actually, the information the military got was that, the Ansarudin faction of the Boko Haram were converging. And of course, they saw them through electronic monitoring system, but before you know it, something again happened. So these are some of the reasons. And that is why I talked about security education and empowering the people so that they can be able to report, instances of security breaches so that the military or the security forces can react. And of course, most importantly, is to equip those security forces so that they can react timely. So intelligence is equally key. So these are some of the problems that actually brought about the seemingly slow paces that we've been seeing. But I can assure you, they are doing very well. Not only the Super Tucanos, there are unmanned aerial vehicles here and there that help in reconnaissance and intelligence and directing the troops in dealing with this criminal element. But most importantly, the issue of human intelligence is equally very important. Giving timely and accurate information, and of course, collaborating with each other. Because now, again, And the fourth factor is the issue of good governance. Some of these areas are not easily accessible. So the infrastructural development are not even there. And my greatest fear now, the rainy season is there. It is very difficult for some of the equipment to, reach where these bandits and terrorists or criminal elements are, hiding.
Yes.
So these are the issues that combine to create, the environmental problem, the threat itself, and of course the attitude. And sometimes we had instances where you receive a distress call, you synchronize either patrol or whatever, only for them to be ambushed, because there is this issue of menace of informants that monitor the activities of our troops, our security forces, and disclose such criminal elements. And again, the fifth aspect is the issue, we still go back to the issue of good governance. Now, most of our youth are not employed. Almost, the total population of Nigeria, let's say 200 million, right? So almost 70% of that population, they are youth.
All right.
What extent have you made provision for the youth so that they will not be part of this criminal element? So,
all right,
these
General.
are some of the, and we neglected the traditional rulers and what have you, that they could form part of the solution to security challenges. So, the Kano and deployment of military and police sometimes may not necessarily solve these security challenges. We have to explore other options.
All right, General, thank you. Let me put you on hold, and then we will go on a short break and come back. And when we come back, of course, we still have Tony Ofoyeton with us here in the studio, so he can respond to some of the issues that we're talking about. Stay with us on This Morning.
Politics is defined as getting what, where, when, and how. But in the mix, many things come to play to shape the political fortune of any country.
Honorable Minister, that's how you misinform the public.
From the political actors to the electorate, campaign to voting, from debates to policy decisions, big events happen to engage us in constant conversation.
That's what we're looking for. Not some people who are talking about ethnicity. No.
Who is on your mind?
Don't worry.
Join me every day on Politics Tonight, where we dissect issues that shape our political destiny. Politics Tonight, weekdays on TVC News.
All right, you're watching This Morning on TVC. I am Mike Okwoche standing in for YORI FOLARIN. And we are talking about the task ahead of the service chiefs. Nigeria has a collection of new service chiefs, and all of them are thoroughbred professionals in security in their various respects. Nigerians have all the hope that as they take office, of course, something is going to change. And in the studio, I have experts helping us make sense of all of this. I have in the studio Dr. Tony Ofoyeton. He's the Director General of the International Institute of Professional Security. And also on Zoom from Abuja, we have Brigadier General Sani Kukasheka Usman. He's a former Director of Army Public Relations and the spokesman for the Nigerian Army. Gentlemen, I'm happy to still have you stay with us. Now, Tony, the issue of synergy in security is very important, where from some of the contributions that you and some other colleagues of yours have made, we understand that when intel or intelligence is gotten, it has to be interpreted, and analyzed, whatever the thing, before action is taken. Recall under former President Buhari, there was a report at the time that there seemed to be some level of disarray amongst the service chiefs at the time until it was taken care of, as the case may be. Speak to us from the window of synergy. What you expect these generals now to do going forward in such a way that everybody is speaking and they are in sync?
I think I will start from the body language of the president.
Okay.
not just the body language, but his express statement, especially to the new former service chiefs. It's so obvious that we have a participatory president now, unlike previously where we have a president that gives you a job and leaves you with a job without any supervisory or participatory role. So there are two different things. You look at the man at the helm of affairs, you interpret what he wants to execute. And from all indication, it's obvious that President Tinubu wants a situation where you have a synergy among all security agencies. And you will even see the way he appointed, it's a matter of this is the boss. And it's not pretentious about it. Don't forget that if you refuse to obey the instruction of the NSA, it's at your own peril. You know, it doesn't make any difference whether you are the chief of army staff, air staff, or naval staff, or CDI. Once you disobey that order, it's obvious now that this president wants a symbiotic relationship among all the security agencies. So if he wants a symbiotic relationship, and that is actually the most sensible way to go, because you can't be talking about prosecuting and running after the same enemy in different philosophy, idea, and approaches. Okay. It doesn't work. So for me, it makes a lot of sense. And it's so obvious. Don't forget that if you look at President Tinubu, he's not the type that will hire you for 4 years. So let's not deceive ourselves. Yes, look at his antecedent as a governor. President Tinubu is not the type that will hire you for 4 years and say, go and sleep. There are two types of government. You have the one you call the kakistocracy. That is government by the weakest and the least intelligent. Then you have meritocracy, government by merit. You can see as we speak now that we are talking about merit.
We have Reverend Dominic from Alimosho joining us now. Reverend, good morning.
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
Very fine. Please, let's hear you.
Yeah, please, quickly, I want Tony as an expert and the other expert over there to answer this question for me quickly.
Okay.
In the society, for you to have adequate security, is where every member of that society is law-abiding. I have a video in my hands here where Asari Dokubo was using an assaulted rifle to threaten Igbo, kill all of them. How have we come to that point of security or insecurity in our society that an individual who is not in the military or primary an assaulted rifle and planting it on the video that's going around now, I say we use it to wipe away a set of trust in Nigeria. How does it work if we must have a security in our nation? Don't you have to talk about international, but before an international encroachment in our nation, there's always a local. You should here, not get the national part of it.
I think we're losing part of your audio, Reverend. Well, okay, Reverend, you can hit your question. Because you talked about you talked about Asari Dokubo. You say you have a video of him having a rifle, an assault rifle. Oh, we lost the connection from Reverend Dominic there, reaching us from Alimosho. I wanted to get the kernel of his question.
I think if you ask me what Reverend is looking at is giving patronage to non-state actors. Okay. And truly, if you ask me, I will just say that there's the necessity to apply high level of caution. I concede to the fact that because of the topography and terrain of this country, there are instances where you use out-of-the-box methodology in solving security challenges. But whatever Asari Dokubo had done before now were under the President Buhari administration, except for the fact that he granted a very sensitive and explosive interview right in
the State House.
Yes, right in the State House, which of course became a major talking point for the country as a whole. The revelation of mercenaries being used under previous government, and he asked me no results. The fact that he was the person that helped in clearing the Kaduna-Abuja Express Road, the fact that he was talking about oil bunkering and all those stuff like that. in as much as I want to say he is a Nigerian, he has a right to ensure and be part of the progressive move and all those stuff like that. But the government should not make the mistake of handing over security to non-state actors because they end up becoming rebel at the end of the day. It does work like that. Why? Because this government will be in power and will favor you. Government is transient. Another government comes and is not interested in your philosophy. And once he leaves you and abandons everything about you, you now become a pest to that government. And at the end of the day, it now becomes a problem to the nation. So government must be very, very careful about dealing with non-state actors. It doesn't work successfully anywhere in the world. Even countries that uses machineries, when you use machineries, you use them under strict, extremely strictest, ensure they are confined. They are confined to the extent that everything they eat, they drink is within a confinement. And once they are done with that operation, there is no 24 hours grace. You are asked to go back to wherever you came from and all those stuff. Yes, country use that, but it's a covert operation, extremely covert operation. So for him to even come out now to tell you that government has been using it, it shows the type of person he is. You are trying to buy patronage from the government. Like he said, is he a saint? When you are talking about Niger Delta criminality, you are talking about Niger Delta violence and the like, Tompolo and Asari Dokubo, will you exonerate them? If the answer is in the negative, then Mr. President has to be extremely careful because it doesn't make any difference whether you said he supported you during electioneering campaign and the like. This is just basically stomach infrastructure philosophy as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
It's as simple as that.
Okay, I think I have a voice from Osun State joining us right now. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good to hear from you. Go ahead.
My name is Mr. Akonfe from Ede.
Great. Good morning. Go ahead.
Hello. Yes, sir. So, I'm listening to your program now, and you are talking about all what Mr. Azari Dokubo has said last week. Sir, please. All what he has said, as I'm talking, I am a driver. I have opportunity to work with NNPC around 1986. So when I was with them, I witnessed many things. I'm telling you about what Asari Dokubo has said. Even to the extent that I want to run because I'm carrying the tag going for this thing. The joint patrol. One night, there was a man who was shot there. I don't want to mention because we are on the screen. He's a military man named by Gambo. I don't want to mention more than that. Let them and confirm what caused the killing of that man. In between the Navy and the Army, it was in the midnight. I run it and catch her. I carried with my vehicle to the hospital. So all what Asari Dokubo has said, nothing but the truth. That is what I'm trying to confirm.
Okay.
Nothing but the truth. Please. So God will help all these fascist chiefs. God will help them.
Okay.
I pray. And God will help our new president, Bola Tinubu.
Amen. That's our prayer. What Dr. Foyeton was trying to explain, he's not saying it was, false, or he's trying to say we should be careful in dealing or engaging with non-state actors. That's what our resource person in the studio, Dr. Foyeton, was saying. Now, let me cross over to you, General. Now, there is the issue of concern. Dr. Foyeton mentioned it in passing. We have generals who have seen the war, who have fought at different times across the world and across the continent, who are now chief of every staff, chief of army staff, chief of air staff, chief of naval staff, chief of defense intelligence. These are all generals of the army. In a situation where they have to answer to a retired police officer who has never seen a war, of course, the issue of there's a mandate from the president and commander-in-chief that the national security advisor, every other person should answer to him. But talk to us how that plays out when generals will have to respond or to have to, submit to a non-general? How does it work?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I would like to have a preamble before I answer your question.
All right.
And I think Nigerians up to now, they are still having the hangover of military dictatorship. Otherwise, this issue should not be an issue at all. The military over time, from 2000 to 2015, went through what was called transformation process. And the transformation process started with the Nigerian Army and eventually all the services, including the defense headquarters. The whole essence of it was to subordinate them to, the civilian authority under democratic dispensation, institutional change, doctrine, and what have you. And the greatest mistake, actually, is that you cannot you cannot transform in isolation with the Nigerian society. We ought to transit from military dictatorship to democratic governance as quickly as possible, way back in 1998 to 1999, because of the number of years of military incursion. We ought to have at that time also reorient the Nigerian society on the nuances of democratic governance, the processes of democratic, the process of democracy, bureaucracy, and what have you. So with that, people ought to have understood that democracy is a government by the people, for the people. Whoever the president deemed fit to be appointed as national security advisor, so be it. And people should understand also, the national security advisor is not a commander, so to speak. So the issue of answering or calling military officers does not even arise. He's the overall coordinator of security activities, and at the same time, particularly the intelligence community. Remember, we have institutions, the National Intelligence Agency, Department of State Services, the Defense Intelligence Services, and of course, immigration, even road safety, they have intelligence department. But beyond that, the other non-state actors, take for instance, professional organization, National Union of Transport Workers, and so on, even the Okada, they have contributions to make in terms of security of this nation. So it's the aggregation of all that information, and the one that is being brought that he will coordinate and make sure that he advises the president as at when due. So when there is need for coordination, when there is need for collaboration, all those issues should not come into play. Nigeria is the thing. Everybody is working towards a better and a secure Nigeria. So people should understand that, and they should look at it. And yes, there were instances, there were misunderstandings, from the office of the National Security Advisor and some of the service chiefs. Of course, it's deviation from the mandate, and that is why. So, and now you can see that this government is so determined that everybody will be held accountable and everybody will stay in his or her own lane, as the case may be. There won't be any reason to think along that way. And more so, when you look at the National Security Advisor, he had been a time-tested senior police officer and who has contributed so much national security and national development. And you cannot question his integrity. And when you are faced with the interests of Nigeria, having to make sure that the interests of Nigeria take precedence above anything else. The oath of attestation is there whenever you are enlisted, either as an officer or a soldier in any of the services. So all these things that people are just making noise about it, honestly, is uncalled for, is unnecessary. I think we should continue to encourage and support them so that they will synergize and make sure that they face the job that is in front of them to make sure that Nigeria is more secure.
Great.
And doing that will involve working with each other. The security architecture itself, beyond the security architecture, every Nigerian is an equal partner in the quest for a better Nigeria and a secure Nigeria.
All right,
so
General.
Everybody has a role to play.
Yes. General, thank you very much for setting this straight, because it's very important for Nigerians to understand how that works, because a lot of persons have analyzed these things from various perspectives as to looking forward to a friction somewhere. But it's good for you to that you have clarified this. Now, Dr. Phaeton, we don't have all the time, but earlier we were talking about tens, sometimes even 100 of other generals that will be retired at a time like this. On the front page of the Punch, because of the service chiefs, 100 military generals may be retired. All right, we have that. There are other numbers that are quoted by other papers. But talk to us, because you said that, of course, there could be other ways that these people can still be engaged to work, as the case may be. What other areas, just in a minute, can they be engaged?
I think one of the best ways that the government can use them, apart from being think tank, that can be part of security for formulation team. Are you also talking about strategic think tank? You are talking about training. Okay. These people have been trained with a lot of government resources. They can also, the train the trainer concept. That reduces the cost of training some other officers and the like. They can be engaged in training. They can also be engaged, even at their own respective places. They can be technically working with the security team in wherever they are, either wherever they stay or wherever they are domiciled. It's just like you work in FBI or you work in any intelligence agencies. You are there for life. Whether you retire or not, you are bound to bring sensitive information back to the agency. So the government should look at that passive way of keeping them, and so that they become relevant and useful in their respective places, apart from the fact that they can be think tank, they can help in formulating policy, they can help in advice, they can also help in training. Right. Yes, they can even help also in their respective places, wherever they are.
All right. It's a good place to leave it now due to time. Dr. Tony Ofoyeton, Director General, International Institute of Professional Security, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Great.
Thank you.
Brigadier General Sani Kukasheka Usman, former Director of Army Public Relations and spokesman for the Nigerian Army. I thank you so much for your time, General. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much. I wish I had the time to add to what the doctor has said in respect of retirement of officers.
Exactly. We'll look for the time. We'll certainly find the time to get your peak on that. Thank you. Right. So this is where we wrap up on the program now. Thank you very much for spending your time with us. I am Mike Okwoche. At top of the hour will be the news at noon. Bye now.
Presentation by ShopX TV. Are you worried about the safety and security of your home at night? Do you wish to know when intruders come close to your home? Or do you want to protect what matters to your family from anywhere at any time? What if there was a convenient, affordable way to keep surveillance in your home without having to worry about wires, installations, or heavy light bills? Introducing the incredible Sidebulb HD Cam, the robotic 360-degree two-way torque camera with action tracking technology. Sidebulb is the ultimate solution for discreet and powerful surveillance. It's so easy to install, and the app lets you rotate and view the video from your Sidebulb in real time from any smartphone. You can drop in from anywhere and check in with our two-way talk technology. Talk and listen at the same time.
Hello, Mommy.
Hey, sweetie. I'll be home soon, okay?
Sidebulb's advanced tracking technology locks onto motion and tracks in real time. Set the siren alarm to go off when motion is detected and keep intruders away. Check in on your home while you're away. Make sure the kids got home safely. Interact with visitors at your doorway or surprise a trespasser.
Surveillance in a light bulb. I was amazed at the 360-degree rotation. It gives me a full view of my house and I can check in on my kids. The footage is clear and the night vision is so impressive. The best part, I can add multiple side bulbs for a complete home surveillance.
I really like my side bulb. It's so easy to use. I just downloaded the app, I put it on my phone, and I add it up and run in about 3 minutes.
Traditional surveillance systems are bulky, expensive, and difficult to install. But with Sidebulb HD Cam's innovative design, installation is as fast as changing a light bulb, and it's made for indoor and outdoor surveillance.
The Sidebulb HD Cam is now available in Nigeria, exclusively from Shopex TV. You could be paying up to 200,000 naira for an indoor and outdoor security system that doesn't fully secure your home. But call the number on your screen now and get the Sidebulb HD Cam for just 45,000 naira and get peace of mind. And that's not all. If you call now, we'll give you an extra sight bulb at no extra cost. That means you buy one and get one free for 45,000 naira. But wait, there's more. If you order now, you get the Sidebulb HD Cam delivered to you for free wherever you are in Nigeria. So, call the number on your screen now or visit our website to place your order while stock lasts. The proceeding was a paid presentation brought to you by Shopex TV.
Join me, Precious Amayo, as I bring you news from the epicenter, where it happens and when it happens, staying on top of every breaking story, minute by minute, right at the hour when the city gets busy and just before it sleeps. We're live from every angle with objective insight and analysis. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
This is TVC News at midday. The appointment of new service chiefs, Inspector General of Police and others by President Bola Tinubu is still generating reactions across the country. Their appointment has received great commendation from various quarters, but experts say the new chiefs will have to prove their mettle by tackling the security challenges causing setbacks to the rapid development of the country. Sifon Essien reports.
It was a dream that has now become reality. The appointment of security chiefs signals the beginning of a new dawn in their various services. The task before them is enormous. Apart from the bottlenecks to operations, the security challenges in the country are assuming new dimensions. Attacks on communities are on the increase. Days after assuming office, President Bola Tinubu came clean about his agenda for the security agencies, indicating the beginning of reforms. The appointment of the new security chiefs is seen as part of the reform. Nuhu Ribadu, as the National Security Advisor, will be playing both advisory and coordinating roles.
Nuhu Ribadu is a senior police officer, retired, who has been EFCC chairman. He's not the first police officer to be National Security Advisor. So it is not entirely a new phenomenon that a retired police officer of the intelligence corps is being made the National Security Advisor. I believe it is in order.
I think what the president might have been looking at would be integrity, honesty, and that zeal, that forthrightness to do the job. It is one thing to be experienced. It is one thing to be vast in the area of the job you'll be given, and also to have the energy, the zeal, and the required integrity to do that job.
But the biggest test, yes, for the security chiefs would be in their ability to curtail evolving security challenges.
I think there are so many things that need to be worked out to help them to perform. It is one thing to put an individual. I have seen their CV. I have gone through the CV in the past 24 hours, and I think their resume is very, very rich. In as much as they have these experiences, it is very, very important that they be given the necessary support and tools to deliver.
I have always said that if any Nigerian is given an appointment, he has to be assessed from time to time. And if he's not meeting up to this appointment, either resign or be relieved of this appointment. Because for a number of years, we've been having insecurity, and then year in, year out, it continues like that. I believe the president should be able to give them a task this time around.
What Nigerians are now eager to see is how the president and his lieutenants will live up to their mandate of protecting life and property. Sifon Asian, TVC News, Abuja.
Staying in the nation's capital, the Independent National Electoral Commission has accused the PDP and the Labour Party of failure to pay for certified true copies of documents they are seeking to get from the commission. Both political parties had argued that they encountered difficulties in getting certified true copies of documents from INEC to aid their petition. Judiciary correspondent Celestina Area has details.
Democratic Party and its presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar will now close their case on Thursday, 22nd June 2023. This follows the decision of the court to add 2 extra dates to the party after losing the set dates during the course of the case.
Counsel to the PDP told the court that INEC brought CTC or voters register for the FCT, although not all, and they wish to tender them as exhibits. INEC, APC and Counsel to Tinubu all objected to the admissibility of the document. The court, however, admitted it as evidence. Counsel to the PDP, who spoke to journalists off camera, said that they have fielded 25 witnesses and will make it a roundup number of 30. The remaining 70 witnesses will come in place of tendered documents. The matter was adjourned to 21st June for continuation of hearing. In the Labour Party petition, INEC, the President and APC cross-examined the 7th witness presented by the Labour Party. Under cross-examination, the witness Clarissa Oga, who was said to be a staff of Amazon, admitted to be in court in her own capacity. She admitted that she contested in the last general election under the Labour Party in Cross River State. Although she won the primary election, she lost at the state level due to exclusion of her name from the polls. She noted that she could not upload her name on INEC server for the election at the state level due to glitches. Mrs. Oga said she conducted an investigation on the ASW application used by INEC in the presidential election, and there were no glitches. She admitted that glitches can occur at any time while using the ASW software and application. The court adjourned to 21st June for continuation of hearing. Celestina Area, TVC News, Abuja.
And counsel to the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has told the court his client requires urgent ear surgery. He is also seeking an order granting Nnamdi Kanu unhindered access to his doctor. Mr. Ozekome stated that the DSS has repeatedly refused to release medical records even after the medical team confirmed his need for attention. Counsel to the DSS, however, argued that Mr. Kanu is properly fed and given medical attention. He prayed the court to dismiss Mr. Kanu's case. The trial judge, Justice Binta Nyako, after listening to the submission, adjourned the suit to July 20th for judgment.
Still being held today in isolation
He's not allowed to practice his Jewish religion. He's not allowed to interact with other cellmates. In fact, when he greets some detainees, those detainees are quarantined off in some more dangerous gulags as punishment for exchanging greetings with Nnamdi Kanu. So, he's there being tortured, dying by installments, apart from the ear surgery we are now requesting for. Dying, mentally tortured, physically tortured, spiritually tortured.
Counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, Michael Zekome there. Former Governor of Imo State, Rochas Okorocha, has expressed worry over the deteriorating security situation in the state. The former governor, who spoke to journalists in YORI, called on federal government to urgently intervene to restore peace and safeguard residents. He also advised political leaders in the state to close ranks in order to fight the challenge.
There's need for federal government intervention so that the youths who are the productive sector of the economy of this state, who have all dispersed, will come back home and contribute their quality to the development of their state. And people who have decided on him or so that or not, and hope the place should come back home. So we can help this state. This is our state, and we must all make sacrifices to build the state. But this deadly killings must stop, as it's not good for us. It doesn't represent us well. We're not murderers, we're not killers. So whatever the federal government can do and intervene, we should do that. And I think it's high time that all political leaders should come together, irrespective of their political affiliations, to find a way.
Let's turn now to Ogun State, where the senator representing Ogun West, Solomon Adiola, has stated that his decision to represent Ogun West in the Senate was not for any material gain, but to serve his people and facilitate development in the area. The senator also called for continuous support for President Bola Tinubu. TVC News' Kazim Olowe has details.
The people of Ogun West have been assured of quality representation and facilitation of developmental programs to the area. The representative of the senatorial district at the 10th National Assembly, Solomon Adeola, made this known while speaking about his plans for his people during the special Thanksgiving service held at Ilaro Yewa South local government. He said his tenure at the Senate.
People are earnestly seeking and looking unto God, hoping that things will change. Poverty is in the land. I want to beg us. This is the time that we need to come together and reason together under God to support these our leaders. But we only appeal to you, people of God. Ẹ jọ̀wọ́, ó lè nira nísìn, ṣùgbọ́n láìpẹ́ jọjọ, ìrọ̀rùn yóò dé bá wa.
The opportunity to serve my people as the senator representing Ogun West, I'm not going to leave anybody behind. I'm going to give quality representation at the highest level to the good people of Ogun West. I'm going to do my best to see that there is a turnaround in terms of representation of Ogun West Senatorial District in the 10th Senate of the National Assembly. All these and more are what I'll be bringing to the table, serving and representing my people as Senator of Ogun West Senatorial District.
The senator also donated more than 2,000 chairs for 25 schools under his senatorial districts and commended the Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun, for his support throughout his journey to the 10th Senate and appreciate the efforts of former Governor Segun Oshoba and other leaders of the party in the state. Kazim Olowe, TVC News, Ilaro.
We're back with more stories after this break. Stay with us.
Planet, our home, threatened by man's activities with fears of mass extinction on the rise. On Green Angle, we examine the issues that affect our environment, seek solutions to put us on track to secure and restore a cleaner and greener world for generations to come.
In the month of June,
The 4th of June 2023 makes it 27 years since the wife of the late MKO Abiola, Kudirat Abiola, was murdered. 5th of June is World Environment Day. On the 7th of June, the global community celebrates World Food Safety Day, while June 12 is Democracy Day in Nigeria. Also, June 12 is World Day Against Child Labor. 13th of June is a day set aside for International Albinism Awareness, while 14th of June is World Blood Donor Day. The 19th of June is set aside as International Day for the Elimination of Sexual Violence in Conflict. It's also set aside as World Sickle Cell Day. 26th of June is International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. 30th of June is International Day of Parliamentarism. Brace yourself for the month of June and stay tuned to TVC News for special reports and analysis. Thanks for staying with us on the news this hour. The Enugu State government is set to partner the federal government to actualize the completion of the international wing of Akanumbuam Cargo Airport. Governor Peter Mba spoke after inspecting the cargo terminal of the airport, which is aimed at growing the state's economy. Bamdele Ajayi reports.
Construction of Akanumbuam International Cargo Airport Enugu was approved in 2012 alongside Lagos, Kano, Port Harcourt, Abuja, and Asaba airports. The project was designed to ease movement of goods, including farm produce, within the southeast Nigeria to other countries. Years after, the International Cargo Airport is yet to be actualized, which raises concern that Governor Peter Mba intends to address. New Managing Director of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, Kabir Muhammad Yusuf, is in Enugu to seal the collaboration for the completion of the project. The first point of call was to inspect the proposed site for the International Cargo Terminal for import and export of items. FAN MD also took the governor around the almost completed international wing of the Enugu Airport for an on-the-spot assessment of the project. Mohammed Yusuf underscores the readiness of the agency to partner with the state government for speedy completion of the project.
Enugu, as the capital of the southeastern region, it's where we know that there are a lot of traders who trade on different kind of things across the globe. So having to put or place a cargo terminal there will go a long way in improving the economy of the southeastern part of the country.
Considering the economic viability of the Southeast, Governor Peter Mba expressed determination to make the airport operational for migration of agriculture and agro-allied industrialization for food export.
As you can see, the international wing is almost complete. We need to have it operationalized.
He assured that it will also serve as a viable window for tourism to flourish, with a projection of 3 million tourists to access tourist sites in the state and entire southeast region annually.
Tourism, we're looking at attracting over 3 million visitors to Enugu yearly. That cannot happen just by driving through the road. It is going to occur by flying, getting people from across the different parts of the world to come to Enugu.
The FAN MD earlier paid a visit on the governor at the government house Enugu, where the scope to make the airport operational was discussed. Bamidele Ajayi, TVC News, Enugu.
Governor of Delta State, Sheriff Buhari, says his relationship with the people of the grassroots is key to his political surgeon and would never stop in spite of his new position. The governor, who stated this at his inauguration Thanksgiving and 60th birthday anniversary service, hinted that it will soon constitute the State Executive Council. Ikenamichi reports.
Delta State Governor Sheriff Buhari's journey to the saddle of leadership in the state is likened to God's grace, the reason the Osubu-born politician utilizes every opportunity to give God thanks. Today, him, alongside his wife, deputy, and other dignitaries are here in church to appreciate God for his 60th birthday and his